Welcome everyone to another Total War Warhammer 2 online multiplayer replay. This is Tactical Lich here, and today we have a replay sent in by the Phoenix King here, facing off against Hadri's. Both players are very experienced in multiplayer, and really exciting to see what they will bring to the table. Now for army builds, Phoenix King bring in his signature playstyle, a full front line of skirmishers with Shadow Warriors and at the back, Elarian Reavers mixed in with Dragon Princes and no infantry front line whatsoever. In the skies, we have Alario the Radiant bring in Shield of Thorns, Earthblood, and of course Star of Avalon. Her wingman would be an Arcane Phoenix. As for the Chaos brought in by Hadri's, leading the army we have Prince Sigvald the Magnificent. Of course, a very balanced lord, absolutely not a solo character that can basically carry the whole army to victory. And accompanying him we have Chaos Sorcerer of Fire with Fireball and Burning Hat. For the infantry department, we have a rather narrow build. Chaos Marauders with some Chaos Marauders with great weapons at the back. Also some Chosen with halberds guarding the artillery of Soul of Damnation. Also for mobility, we have Marauder Horsemasters mixed in with Horsemen with ring axes, as well as a lot of these Chaos Warhounds, and that's basically it. Now let's get the battle started and see how it plays out. As the battle begins, we have of course the Shadow Warriors pushing forward, ready to do some skirmishing, while the Soul of Damnation blasting away at these Elarian Reavers. Some poor elves exploded by these soul fireballs. Speaking about Fireball, a Fireball smacked right into the face of Alario, chipping away her health, forcing her to hit that heal cap as early as possible. Not only the Sorcerer, but also Soul of Damnation Hell Cannons shooting at Alario, and they are not exactly bad at it. In fact, I would say Hell Cannon is a great counter against cavalry and other mobile units that can dodge regular artillery fire, as the Soul Fireball does track these moving units. So even Alario is flying in the skies, there is still a chance that the Hell Cannon can hit her mid-flight, basically a guided missile. On the left flank of the High Elves, there are some Elarian Reavers wandering too close to these Chaos Marauders, getting caught onto these infantry, taking some damage and losing a model, but they quickly pulled back as the Shadow Warriors were able to unleash a devastating volley of fire into the Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. These Shadow Warriors with 23 missile strength and around 22 damage per shot can do some really heavy damage against the squishy cavalry. Now some more Elarian Reavers are caught onto these Chaos Marauders, so the Arcane Phoenix is dropping down trying to support, while the Dragon Prince is maneuvering into a flanking position ready to just charge straight into their backs, delivering a devastating blow. While Alario taking some javelins and throwing axes in the face, dropping quite a bit in terms of health, and definitely not a good thing happening. While over here the Shadow Warriors pulling back into the safety, they are able to focus down all these Chaos Warhounds, routing them before they are able to get into melee, and now a beautiful sandwiching charge from all these Elarian Reavers, Dragon Princes, clattering into these Chaos Marauders, crushing them in this hammer and anvil. While over here, these Marauders, who are swiftly routed off by the Arcane Phoenix, is returning to combat, and the Dragon Princes are now just driving forward deep into the enemy formations, trying to crush the infantry of the Chaos as soon as possible, and now they're pulling back a bit as the Chaos Marauder infantry with great axes as well as the Chosen with halberds are pushing forward, threatening them with some armor-piercing damage. And now the Shadow Warriors are shooting into the Chosen with halberds, although I wouldn't say that's the best use of their ammo, as the Chosen does have 120 armor, able to mitigate a lot of that damage from the missiles. Instead, they probably should be shooting at these Marauders with great weapons, allowing that missile damage to be used in maximum efficiency. Also, these Marauder Horsemen would be great targets as well, as you can see they're just dying left, right, and center from the turret of arrows. While in the middle, the Chosen with their massive halberds are dragging down all the Dragon Princes. Fortunately, Alario is here to support, providing that physical resistance with an earlier Shield of Thorns, and also healing the Earthblood combined with Star of Avalon, topping up their health, dragging back their health to a relatively safe level, as these Chosen with halberds getting hit pretty hard by the charge damage from the devastating heavy cavalry. Behind the Chaos formations, the Elarian Reavers are driving themselves deep inside enemy lines, trying to chase away the Marauder Horsemen, but will be soon routed and overwhelmed by all the numbers advantage of the Chaos. While over here, the Arcane Phoenix wisely charging, psycho charging even, trying to finish off these elite infantry of the Chaos as soon as possible. Elarian Reavers are just psycho charging into the Chaos Marauders, delaying their advance and providing a safe firing environment for the Shadow Warriors. And throughout the battle, the Sword of Damnation has not stopped firing, shooting fireball after fireball, dealing a heavy blow to all the high-value targets in the High Elf army. And mostly right now is shooting at Alario the Radiant, trying to snipe her out to cut off the healing for the High Elves. Now back to the middle melee grind. The Arcane Phoenix is taking massive beating by Sigvald the Magnificent, as he is an amazing duelist, while the Arcane Phoenix, as a large monster, doesn't have the highest melee defense either. A thunderous charge delivered by the Dragon Princess is slamming straight into the backs of these chosen with halberds, but unfortunately the Hell Cannon's fireball crashes into the formation, blasting away a few models of the already very tattered Dragon Princes. A burning head hovers across the battlefield, but luckily for the High Elves, Ilarian Reavers were just pulling out, unable to do too much damage, while the Marauder Horse Masters and Horsemen are moving forward, trying to focus down the Dragon Princes before the Dragon Princes can get too much damage done. So the Ilarian Reavers will be pushing forward and trying to absorb some of the ammo. Now look at the Tokyo drifting fireball from the Hell Cannon. These guided missiles are so ridiculous they can literally make sharp turns in air, almost hitting Alario the Radiant, but the dodging game of Phoenix King is definitely on point, dodging yet another fireball from the Chaos Sorcerer. Basically dodge a huge bunch of those missiles, mitigating a lot of those damage from the magical fireballs. Now diving into combat. Right now, the Hell Cannon is switching targets onto these expensive Dragon Princes. Dragon Princes not stopping for even a second, dashing around the battlefield, trying to charge down the Chosen with halberds to break off this last resistance of the infantry, while some Chaos Marauders now caught onto the Shadow Warriors, proceeding to hack through these rather squishy archers. But Shadow Warriors, no slouch in combat with 38 attack, 34 defense. They should hold just fine against the Marauders despite not being a cost-effective trade. In the front line, the Dragon Prince is driving forward, deleting all these Chosen with halberds. However, right now, focus fire from all these Marauder Horsemen, Horse Masters, even the Hell Cannon is joining the crossfire, chipping away its health. Though the Marauders are getting a little too eager now, over chasing and getting too close. They are just pulling back right now as they do not want to get tangled up into melee against these elite cavalry. But they have already received a huge amount of counterfire from the Shadow Warriors. The Marauder Horse Masters and Horsemen were broken off, now routed from taking too much damage, while the Dragon Prince is still roaming around trying to deliver some more cycle charges, but unfortunately a Hellfire Ball drops into the Dragon Princes, burning another few models to ashes. The screams of the Hellfire will be routing them from combat. Now let's have a quick overview of the battlefield. Basically, all that's left for the Chaos is Sigvald and a Chaos Sorcerer. And you can see how powerful Sigvald is. A fully healthy Sigvald versus a very tattered Alario and Arcane Phoenix, combined with these Shadow Warriors who are all out of ammo. The Prince of Slaanesh is dominating the balance of power. And I don't really see the High Elves with any tools to finish the Prince Sigvald off right now, especially given that they do not have any ammo left on these Shadow Warriors. So their best chance is probably to cycle charge with the Arcane Phoenix and also Alario, trying to focus him down as early as possible, but it's not going to be an easy task as he does have a really good melee stat. 60 melee defense can further buffed up with Slippery as well as Stand or Die. He is not an easy man to kill, especially right now this whole build lacks armor piercing other than the Arcane Phoenix. Right now, the Dragon Princes and the Shadow Warriors are engaging in melee combat, trying to rout off all these Marauder infantry and horsemen as well. However, Prince Sigvald is cutting down the last remaining Dragon Princes, and they will be routed off the battlefield and probably never coming back, leaving the single entities as the only killing power of the High Elves, where the Arcane Phoenix is trying to rout off all these scattered Chaos units, trying to strip away the Chaos balance of power as much as possible. Routing off the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire, cutting off the spell support, using Alario, roam around, maybe dive down onto these Marauder Horsemen would be a good call. Right here, she uses the fear of her ego, trying to lower the leadership of the Marauders and push them away. And on the other side, the Shadow Warriors are sacrificing their lives, trying to delay Sigvald as much as possible, buying time for the Arcane Phoenix and also Alario to clean up all these tattered Chaos units to pull back that balance of power. So let us speed up the game right now as things are getting a bit skirmishy with all the chasing and routing going on. Both armies trying to maximize the potential on their mobility. The Soul of Damnation expanded its last of the ammo. Marauder Horsemen trying to finish off all the roaming tattered units of the High Elves. While Sigvald the Magnificent being that absolute anchor, he is constantly spamming his buffs to hold as a rock against waves and waves of elvish foes. He just doesn't go down. Like you can see, there's barely a dent in his HP. He is healing, and Slippery is buffing up his melee defense. He's not taking much damage either. The Arcane Phoenix can try to dive down and maybe rout him off, but it's not going to be easy given that the Arcane Phoenix is so low right now. Anyways, Hadri's Horsemen will be routed by Ilario finally. They have gained massive value from using up their ammo and running down all the routing High Elves. The Arcane Phoenix dropped a Flaming Storm onto the Sword of Damnation cannon crew, but not really doing too much there in terms of affecting balance of power, so it's gonna be charging the Prince Sigvald there, trying to get him low with that charge armor piercing damage. Here comes the Everqueen on his Eagle. Ilario the Radiant also doing the same thing, but she needs to be careful. She does not have any healing left, so she will be easy pickings once she's stuck in melee combat for a little too long, as Sigvald the Magnificent is an amazing duelist. And a beautiful rebirth of the Arcane Phoenix, giving herself a perfectly timely healing, but unfortunately the explosion blasts away some of the Shadow Warriors, putting the High Elves in a little bit of a back foot, as every time she explodes it does some friendly damage, worsening the balance of power, so the healing does come with a bit of a price. And Ilario the Radiant and the Arcane Phoenix diving down, double teaming Sigvald, but Sigvald is just not going down. He is still holding, with Slippery buffing up his melee defense right now. If we look at his stats, he has 84 melee defense, giving him maximum block chance against the 48 melee attack of the Arcane Phoenix and Ilario's 45 attack, while the Shadow Warriors is just not doing anything. To even the odds a bit, Ilario was constantly spamming spells. There was a Shield of Thorns earlier, buffing up their physical resistance to allow them tank a little longer in the face of Sigvald. And now Ilario and Arcane Phoenix is diving in yet again, putting themselves in mortal danger, just desperately trying to lower his health. Unfortunately, the Arcane Phoenix takes another hit, its health dropping down to critical level. Ilario and the Arcane Phoenix dives down yet again, dropping Sigvald down to half health, actually less than half health, and lowering his leadership by a significant amount, but a countered punch from Sigvald, putting Ilario dangerously low in terms of health. Ilario on his Eagle, now extracting herself from battle, will probably dive down yet again. Extremely risky, but it is necessary. So Ilario dives down into combat yet again, but there's a mistake here. She's actually charging Sigvald towards his front. This gives Sigvald maximum block chance to her attack and also allows Sigvald to retaliate. As expected, Ilario is no match to Sigvald in melee, and she got slain by the Prince of Slaanesh, leaving only the Arcane Phoenix in combat, diving down yet again, trying to get through Sigvald's melee defense with that charge bonus, but Sigvald is not going down still, and the balance of power is ebbing in the favor of Chaos once again. The extremely beat up Arcane Phoenix is barely holding that balance of power against Sigvald, but the Rebirth ability killed it, stripping away the last remaining few hundred HP on the bird and destroy the last hope of the High Elves. Not only did the Rebirth ability kill the Arcane Phoenix, but the explosion also wiped out a huge chunk of the remaining Shadow Warriors. You can almost sense the hands of Tzeentch fiddling with the outcome of this battle, as the High Elves were defeated by a series of unfortunate RNG. You have the Ilario dying in combat against Sigvald, that much was expected, but then the failure of that Rebirth ability in the middle of their own troops, killing both the Arcane Phoenix, who still have a little bit of HP left and still some fight left in it, and of course the poor Shadow Warriors who are just near the vicinity of the explosion. Truly unfortunate turn of events indeed. Now, before you go into the army performances, just want to say a big thanks to both players for showcasing such a fun game, especially Phoenix King for sending in this replay. And of course, viewers, thank you for watching my video. If you enjoy it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to get notified every time I upload a new video. I will be covering topics including general battle replays like this one, wild army builds, and also tips and strategies for online multiplayer of Total War Warhammer 2. And if you have any replays that you want to showcase, feel free to drop by my Discord or send me an email with the replay file attached. The Discord is linked in the comment, so you'll be easily able to find it. Also, I do occasional tournament hosting, so if you want to play some competitive games, feel free to join my Discord as well. Now, for the actual army performances, the High Elves here did really good with the skirmishing game here. All these Shadow Warriors earning a chevron themselves and well over 1000 value. This one not so much, but still. Overall, very solid skirmishing performance. The Illyrian Reavers, they took quite a bit of damage and not dishing out as much in return, as they are rather squishy. Neither did the Dragon Princes right there actually, as they were just running down the Chaos Marauders but then got stuck on these Chosen with Halberds for way too long. You can see here, this one earning 2,000 gold value. Elven Cavalry just not doing great against the heavily armored Chaos Elite Infantry, especially when they bring in the armor piercing. And also, the good focus fire from the Marauder Horsemasters and Horsemen with throwing axes were able to chip away some of the health of these Dragon Princes. Of course, they didn't really do too much damage here due to the nice skirmishing from the Shadow Warriors. However, that was not enough to pull back the game for the High Elves. Alario the Radiant not being an amazing melee combatant like the other Elven Lords, for example Imrig on the Dragon, or Tyrion, who are able to do some solid damage even up against Sigvald the Magnificent. Now, the Arcane Phoenix got some really solid damage as well, due to that armor piercing, able to charge down Sigvald for quite a bit, but unfortunately just not quite enough there, and in the end, probably did more harm to their own army than against Chaos Army, as the Rebirth explosions really dish out some critical damage into the Shadow Warriors, and pushing the army into army losses. Now for the Warriors of Chaos, the Marauders didn't really do too much here. These guys probably pushed into the Shadow Warriors, got some decent kills. These guys dragged down a few Dragon Princes due to their armor piercing. But really, the powerhouse of this game is just really Sigvald the Magnificent. 3,600 damage value. Due to his tanky status, able to counterpunch any single entities that try to cycle charge him, just holding the center, not dying. Really, that's what he excelled at, being surrounded and just slaughtering everything that comes his way. Now the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire did some nice fireballs, and the Burning Head got some decent damage overall. And of course, the Chosen with Halberds, this one anchoring, being absolute chats, dragging down Dragon Princes left, right, and center. This one not so much, being surrounded by Dragon Princes and countercharged to death. Marauder Horsemen and Horsemasters getting focused down pretty hard by the Shadow Warriors. Due to their low armor, they were not able to stay in the fight for too long. Neither did these Chaos Warhounds did anything special here, due to the focus fire from the Shadow Warriors. Now, Soul of Damnation, 3,000 damage, got some really good sniping from the Screaming Soul Fireballs. These tracking guided missiles did some solid work against Alario, really crucial in forcing the Everqueen hitting her heal cap, allowing Sigvald to assassinate her in the end. Also, these fireballs are great at sniping out stuff like Dragon Princes. The mobility on these cavalry often means that artillery doesn't necessarily hit them, but guided missiles make it so much harder to dodge away from these missiles, making the armor-piercing artillery explosions hitting much more consistently. Now for a little bit of a final thought. Really, this game is perfectly balanced with Sigvald after all, being able to clutch a victory like that when all hope was lost, soloing half an army of their opponent. I feel like Sigvald might need a bit of a rework or adjustment in Game 3. But before that, we don't have any more patches in Game 2, so that's gonna be the status quo for quite a long time. Also, the Rebirth mechanic is a little bit finicky right now. As you might remember, the Arcane Phoenix should not have activated that Rebirth, or at least it had no need to activate it since the Arcane Phoenix already hit the heal cap. But still, the ability was forced to activate due to the low hit point of the Arcane Phoenix, and that unnecessary Rebirth led to the demise of the Arcane Phoenix and the rest of the Elven army. Maybe this Rebirth mechanic can use a bit of an adjustment, maybe set a parameter that if a unit hit a heal cap, it should not activate the Rebirth whatsoever, so that when you're trying to clutch a late game battle like this, you won't suddenly get hit by a suicide out of nowhere. And what are your thoughts about Sigvald's OPness and also the Rebirth mechanic? Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. CA really needs to nerf Sigvald in a viable way, or at least tone down his tankiness in combat. It would be interesting to know what approach you think CA should take to tackle this issue. Also, what do you think about the Rebirth mechanic of the Phoenixes? Do you think they might need any form of rework? I feel like the balance between the insta-kill and the insta-heal mechanic would be a finicky issue to handle. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.